Welcome back, everybody. Mason here at Stampin' Auto Guitars. Today we're going to talk a little bit about truss rods, what their function is, why we need truss rods in guitars. Truss rods have only been around for about 100 years now. Pre-1920, guitars didn't have truss rods, and that's why there's not that many of them around anymore these days, because their necks all bent due to tension on strings, atmospheric pressure changes, and you can't, once those necks start bending, it's just kind of a lost cause. And so in 1920, a gentleman named Thaddeus McHugh was working for Gibson Guitars at the time, patented the first truss rod, the first adjustable truss rod. And basically, what that is here's a truss rod. It's going to be a steel piece that's planted into the neck here, and the adjustable ones are going to allow you to add relief or take relief away. Basically, that meaning add curvature one way or another. And as far as what those measurements are and everything, that's going to be covered in later lessons. We're just covering the basics of what a truss rod is. And so, in the early days, there was what you would call non-adjustable truss rods, which is what this guitar has. This is a 1950s Harmony Red Rocket, or Rocket Red, sorry. And it just says steel reinforced neck right there, which was a huge advertising campaign that they would throw on these guitars. So you see a lot of these out there still. A ton of these guitars were made in the 50s and 60s. A lot of them still around today because they have this steel reinforced necks. Now, these are not adjustable. These are literally just a block of steel running through the neck. But still very useful, and this guitar still plays great, and it probably still will for another 50 to maybe 100 years. That is because the truss rod. So, any guitar neck that's made of wood, which 98% of guitars on the market are, they are they're prone to changes from atmospheric changes, humidity changes, as well as the string tension that's being pulled up. So just by having strings on the guitar, an electric guitar like this one here, there's about 120 pounds of pressure pulling this neck up just by having this thing strung and in tune. On an acoustic guitar, it's much more so. There's in between 160 and 180 pounds of tension pulling this neck this way. So again, in the 1920s, they figured we got to throw a piece of steel in there to counteract that tension from things pulling up. And so there's a couple different types of truss rods on the market today. Here's a single action truss rod. These were very popular from, I would say, the 20s and through the 60s and 70s. Now these are called single action truss rods. You can only go one way on them. Add relief one way or take it away one way. And so if you'll see, by me tightening this up, it started out flat. By me tightening this, it adds some curvature like this. So take it straight edge so you can see it a little bit better. See that rocking there. And so that's hence the single action, because it's only going this way. I can't go down this way. Then that's when they were sitting around and decided that we gotta be able to go both ways. And so this is the dual action truss rod. I will kind of show you how this guy works by putting it in two vices here. By going clockwise, you can see I'm creating a bow this way. By going counterclockwise, see that's creating the lower bow. And so obviously, the industry standard today is now dual action truss rods, because you have the most control over adjusting your neck. If wood dries out, it curves certain ways. If it over humidifies, it expands, and strange things happen. So with the dual action truss rod, you're going to have a lot more control over taming that neck due to atmospheric changes, or if you're switching to a higher string tension, your neck curvature is going to change. And so basically, you need a responsive truss rod to be able to counteract those forces at work. Moving on to later, or looking into the future, into later lessons, we'll be talking about how to adjust these and measurement techniques and what a good amount of relief is, and yeah, and so on and so forth.